Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. On this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning, I've been sitting on the stoop for the last hour, and it's really been great. It's like a cold, I can feel it, but it's beautiful. I really, really love it. Today, I want to sort of talk a little bit about something that's maybe a little bit more philosophical, but also something that is very, very real. And that is, do you really believe that you can become the greatest whatever in the world? And whether it is as a financial professional, or it's a dad or a mom or a friend or a brother or a sister or mother, father, whatever it is that you want to be the greatest at, sort of that, because there's some things that I've experienced over the last couple of years, and that really has put my focus onto some of those things. And I've been questioning whether we really, really believe that we can do that. And today there are 10 things I want to share with you. So there's quite a lot to get through, and very, very happy that all of you are here with me this morning. And thank you very much once more for deciding to be here. This is absolutely, this is a Sunday. I know there are some people who's not happy with me with doing these shows on a Sunday. Ultimately it is your choice whether you want to be here or not. For me, I don't see this as work. For me, this is just spending time, having a chat, doing things. And so we all have choices about what we want to do. And on that note, let me get into saying hi to some people who have decided to be with us this morning. I just want to see that it seems like some of my comments has frozen here on the YouTube side. That is not nice. It's showing here that I want to, so I can see some of the comments. Anyway, so good morning, Kobus. He says he's looking forward to today. It's a subject matter that he loves, absolutely. And I think you are one of the persons that embodied, what does it mean to be great? So thank you for that. Denise Snell, welcome. Good morning, Denise. I really appreciate you being here. Good morning, Terence. He goes, good morning. You obviously got your coffee very early this morning, so very happy about that. Malcolm, welcome back. Thank you for being here once again. Good morning. So let me just see if I maybe post a comment from my side, if anything actually happens or if this thing starts to move. It does not. So what I will do, obviously, because we have technology, I would just look at it over here. So unfortunately, I can't bring it up on the screen then. It doesn't matter. I will just move on and not let things hold us back. Let me just quickly see who I've got here. So Razan, good morning, Razan. Everyone looks like a stunning day here in Joburg. It absolutely is. Adrian, thank you. I will let you know. By the way, so Adrian is asking about, or saying that I can let him know about the tax tool. The tax tool is done. I finished it yesterday. So the last thing I need to do, because it's the support page. There's so many things that needs to happen before I can release it, but everything is done, except the where you can buy it on the website. So I still need to create the products on the website so that you're able to purchase it there, but that'll be done. So I'll launch it tomorrow. I will let everybody know that's already got it for the update. But anyway, so that's tomorrow's story. Stephen, good morning, Stephen. Thank you very much. Tinus Brits, welkom terug. Ek hoop dit is baie koud daar in Bloemfontein vanmôre nie. Bongi, good morning. Nice to have you. Good morning, Hugo. Nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Lost sound. Good morning, everyone. So I'm not sure. Can you just confirm, guys, if Darren is back this end? Okay, so I'm there. So hopefully just confirm with me, please, if you can hear me. That's very, very important. If you can't hear me, that's going to be a massive problem. If I need to restart, I can do that. But if you can just quickly in the comments, let me know. And let me pop on over then to my friends on LinkedIn, whom I love dearly. So let me go there and see who we've got on here. Neil Phillips, first person in the house. Thank you very much. Hugo Blom, welcome terug, Hugo. Alan, once again, Frans Hatting, Slanganani. And then Neil says, this is nourishment for the brain, not work. Glad you are here today. Thank you very much, Neil. I agree. It's like whether we have this conversation around the braai or we have it here, I think it's really what matters is the conversation. Hey, man, nice to see you. I think I haven't seen you here for a couple of days, or you were just very quiet, sitting in the back of the room maybe. I don't know. But welcome. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. And all right. So, yeah, let's get let's get into some of the stuff that I need to talk about. I just want to make sure that everybody can, in fact, hear me. Can hear you. Sound good on my side. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So if I don't say hi and everything to everybody this morning, I'm very sorry about that, because I can't. This thing doesn't want to move here, and it's showing me that there's new comments, but it's not bringing them up on my screen. Technology and live shows. Yeah. Okay. So please, while you are there, obviously, please subscribe. I'll really, really appreciate it. We're on 311 this morning. So, yeah, I think it's the same as yesterday. Yesterday, we were also on 311. And then please remember just to engage with the videos and, comment and chat to people and like the video and do things like that. Share it if you want to. I get a lot of requests if people are asking me if they may share the video with other people or with their clients or with whoever. You're more than welcome to do that. If it's going to be valuable, if you got value from it and you feel that there are people who will also get value, please share it. You are more than welcome to do that. Alrighty, then just maybe for some background before I get into what it is. So what I want to talk about is really based on something that I read in a book, and I've subsequently listened to this book, I think 3 or 4 times. It's not very long. It's about 2 hours if you want to listen to it. And, it's just like these things and some of the things that I've learned over time. If you think about books like Think and Grow Rich, like this book that I want to talk about, I think there's quite a number of them, How to Win Friends and Influence People. These books that have been around for a long time. There's one thing that I learned from them, or one realization that I had from them. And that is that, you know what? It doesn't matter what circumstances we find ourselves in. It doesn't matter how things change. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter where we're living a digital life or a face-to-face life, or, whether we live in the 1800s or whether we live now. There are principles. And even Ray Dalio wrote a book like this thick about principles. And when it comes to principles are those things that never change. They are universal laws that always remain the same. Maybe how we interpret them sometimes will be different. How we act on them may be a bit different. If you think about like the principle that, for me, that business is built on relationships, whether we connect via a camera or whether we connect in person, it is still about the relationship. The principle is never, ever, ever going to change. And here's the other big thing that I realized is that principles have all been figured out. I don't think there are any new principles to be discovered. The way life works is the way life works. I don't know what your thoughts are and what you think about that, but that is the one big thing that I learned. And then I read this book called, and it's where the name for the show actually comes from. I just want to switch this off. So this is this book by Og Mandino. I hope I'm saying his name right. I don't know if it's Og or OG or it could be something like that. But anyway, Og Mandino wrote this book way back in the 30s called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And there's a real big twist at the end. And it was hard for me to sort of figure out in which times because the story that he's telling, is like, it was hard for me to sort of figure out during which time it was, because the story he's telling can just as well be today. And that's the amazing thing. And then right at the end, I realized that, you know what, this is actually like part of the biggest story that we know. But the way that he's done this is to say, well, listen, there are like 10 things that you need to do if you want to become the greatest salesman in the world. But although it says salesman, you can substitute salesman for anything. Whether you want to be the greatest friend in the world, the greatest person in the world, whether you want to be the greatest financial planner, accountant, tax practitioner, business owner, husband, wife, mother, father, daughter, son, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be the greatest at in the world, if you focus on these principles, I promise you will do there. You will get there. And here's the other question. Okay. So when do you know that you've become the greatest in the world at whatever it is that you wanted to be the greatest in the world? And maybe it's not even your intention to become the greatest in the world, but by following these things, others will start to say, well, this is the greatest person I've ever known. This is the greatest person. And that I think is where the thing lies for me. It's not about, nowhere does it say in the things that I'm going to talk to you about today about how much what is your turnover in a year? How much money did you make? How much did you give to charity? How much did you do? It's got nothing to do with money. It's got everything to do with life. And for me, it's like, if you are like the greatest person in the world for somebody, then you're the greatest in the world for them. That's why you get mugs saying like the greatest dad, greatest mom, greatest boss, greatest whatever. Because somebody felt like, you know what, you are like, if it wasn't for you, you know, my life would maybe not be what it is today, or you are so important to me that I think you're the greatest in the world. You always hear husbands and wives saying like, you know, this is the best person in the world, although there's somebody else that can't stand you. You know, it's amazing. So this is not about being number one in the world. It is a bit about being the number one person that you can be, in my opinion. And that's why I said in the invite on WhatsApp this morning. And by the way, if you don't want to receive my notifications on a Sunday, just let me know. I'll take you off the list and put you onto a separate list so that you just get it during the week, and we won't send you any notifications on a Sunday. If that is what you prefer, you're more than welcome to let me know. But yeah, I think from that point, you know, it's that I interrupted myself. But anyway, so that's why I said this is going to be a different session. You know, it's going to be different from the things that I've done up until now. I feel a little bit philosophical, and I've been thinking about a lot of things during the last week. I've been experiencing a lot of things. There's a lot going on in my mind. And I thought, and this has been on the list from almost day one, like the greatest advisor in the world is what I called it. And then I thought, like, when I decided yesterday, it's now time to talk about this, that I'm going to make it become the greatest fill in the blank in the world. And that's really what I'm going to be talking about. All right, so let me just quickly view here. Neil Strydom, good morning, Neil. I missed you yesterday. I don't think you were here yesterday, but thank you very much for being back. Khomotso as well, once again. Khomotso, good morning. Very nice to have you here. And then lastly, quickly over on I just want to see what's happening over on LinkedIn. All right, great stuff. Peter Strydom, Carol Lindsay, good morning. Greatness is a journey, not a destination. Yeah, like life, eh? So yeah, let's get into it, because there are like 10 things I need to share with you, and I don't know if I'm going to get through everything. I'm going to try to do that, but let's go. The first one, sort of, and this makes sense to me completely, and this is something I have spent some time on in the last while. And, you know, over the last year or so, I've even got a webinar where I speak about this specifically. But sorry, I just want to switch this off so we can focus. Alrighty, so the first one is to form good habits and then become a slave to it. If you've ever heard the habit poem, I start off that webinar. It's called the seven powerful habits to create or to build a legendary financial services practice. You know, I start off with the habit poem, and the habit poem actually talks about this. And I only realized this when I was preparing for this yesterday, that, you know, it's this thing about, because habits are something that will do things automatically. They will take over, and you can have either a good habit or a bad habit. It will either build you up to greatness, or it will destroy you. And we have control over these habits, but it's hard to change habits. To change from a bad habit to a good habit is hard. And the other thing that we need to know and understand is that when you do form habits, you want to stack habits. There are people talking about atomic habits. What is the other one? I think in one of the shows, I spoke about Eric Creer and his principle about accretion. So those are the kind of things where you want to build. So one good habit on top of another one, on top of another one, on top of another one, until it becomes the snowball that just like takes everything out automatically, whatever comes in its path. And that's the power of habit. And those are the kind of things that we really need to figure out. And if you think about, you know, why am I starting off with talking about habits? And actually, this book also starts off with talking about habits, you know, is that we need to know and understand the principles that I'm going to talk about after this. So habit is the start. We need good habits, and we need them we really need to master them and then become a slave to them, so that those are the only habits that we follow. But a good place to start is the principles I'm going to share with you today. And then also I've got, as I said, this webinar about the 7 habits to build that legendary practice. You can also go there and have a look at that. But this is a lot focused on life, although that as well. But that's a little bit more specific. This, I think, is a good place to start. If you feel like you can be more than what you are today, and it's also about, do you see yourself as being great? Not in a vain, like I'm untouchable kind of way. I'm just like, do you feel that inner satisfaction that, you know what, you are the best that you can be, and there are people that love you for it. In whatever way it is that you're doing it, they love you for that, and that's really what it is about. If you look at the really the only difference between people who are successful and people who do not become successful, in however way you define success to be, it comes down to their habits. It's what they focused on. It's what they did. It is all of that. That is what made the difference. It is not, we all work in the same. I mean, there are people in South Africa that are extremely successful. There are financial advisors that are busier than ever at the moment and making money at the moment. And there are ones who are not. Okay. We live in the same country. We have the same challenges. We have the same things available to us, but some is doing well, or at least maintaining, or maybe they're getting through this easier than others. And there's a lot of things that play a role there. I get it. But ultimately, it's a thing of habit. It's obviously hard if you just started as a financial planner or financial advisor in the last year or 2 years. It will be more difficult for you than it would be for somebody who's been around for 20 years, of course, because you haven't built up what they've built up. But ultimately, if we take all of that out and you look at the habits, some people take 20 years to build something, some people take 3 years. And the only difference is what they focus on and what they do, and in terms of what their habits are. So, by the way, so if you want me to send you a summary, not of what I'm gonna be talking. If you want me to send a summary of this book, somebody else created this thing because it's about these 10 scrolls, which is the 10 principles, and they've got a way that you go through it and really master it over time. Then I can send that to you. I'm not going to have it as a download, so you can just let me know you want it. Send me your email address. I will just email it to you. Okay, no sign up, no nothing. I will just send it to you. But let me know from that point so that you can read more of this, because I'm only going to touch on a few of the things. I don't have the time to go through every single thing. But there are so many. If you read that stuff, it focuses your mind, it focuses everything, and you just, start forming a thing like, this is a good thing to do. So if you want that, let me know. I will send that to you. And also the habit poem, I'll send that as well. So the habit poem is great to read. It's a little one-pager thing that somebody wrote, which is absolutely brilliant. All right, so let's start with number 2. How's that? So let me just see here quickly. So Peter says, this is a topic that could go in many different directions. Knowing yourself is perhaps a good starting point. And then Stephen Covey wrote a classic called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Yes, that is one of the most well-known books. And so let's get into this. So start each day with gratitude and love. And you've heard about this. There are people doing gratitude journals, and there are people just getting up in the morning and just think about what are you thankful for. There are people that meditate first thing in the morning, going over, what that is. But it is really, a huge, huge thing if you can start off in that way. And if you really want to be powerful, just think about this. Okay, you can be mad at somebody. You can not like somebody. But if they approach you with love, and they just, they show sincerely that they care, they really care, they deeply care, I mean, they will win you over. There is just no way that you can fight love with anything else. There's this thing saying that, if you want to open the hearts of men, then love is the way to get that done, and I think from, this is a big concept really to wrap your head around. But are you really at the moment? And for me, I'm asking myself, am I really grateful when I get up in the morning? Am I grateful throughout the day? Am I grateful for the opportunities that there are, for my failures? Am I grateful that I'm able to learn things? Am I grateful that I'm able to serve during this time? And do I really love? Do I do it from a place of love? And you know what? Doing it from a place of love for some people are very, very natural and they thrive on that. For other people, you know, if you used to, like, depending on how you grew up and all sorts of different things, love can be hard, you know, sometimes to just come from a place of love and to really care. Okay. But it is something that the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And that's why this is a habit. To be thankful, to live in gratitude, to live and to come from a place of love, it's a habit. And once something is a habit, it just becomes part of you. It is just the way that we do it. We have to change how we view the world and how we view people. I think that is the hardest thing. And I tell this story always, you know, and I think there was one of the episodes, I'm not going to go into it again, but one of the episodes I spoke about your beliefs and how that drives your thoughts, and the thoughts, your emotions, and your emotions, your actions at the end of the day. And there's the story I tell about you know, when somebody don't obey the rules of the road and they're just rushing by, and whatever you think and however you react to that. And it's the same thing about this, is like you can choose to view it differently. So we either choose to view people in a certain way or to believe certain things about people, or we can do it differently. So that is all part of coming from a place of love, looking for reasons to applaud and not to gossip. Okay, you want to applaud people, like, well done for what you're doing there, instead of saying, oh, yeah, he's only doing that for his own gain. Now he can say whatever he wants, he can do whatever he wants. Ultimately, it's just about himself or herself or whatever. That is what we tend to do. We get jealous very, very easily. Okay, but look for reasons to applaud people that are out there, putting themselves out there, people who's helping. You know, it doesn't matter what their intentions are. Look for the reason to applaud them rather than to gossip about them. And then I think the biggest thing, which maybe most people struggle with, and this is the blanket assumption, but that is really loving yourself unconditionally, accepting yourself for who you are. And I'm going to get into some of that in a second, but you've got to really, really, and this is the hardest part. There are people who they battle to do that. And it all starts with yourself. I always use this example from, you know, when we were allowed to fly, and they say, well, first put on your own mask before you put on the person next to you, or you help the person next to you. You got to love yourself first before you'll be able to love other people. You know, you got to change what you see in the mirror when you look in the mirror. It is something that it's a process you need to go through. You've got to sort out whatever it is that's distorting that picture for you in the mirror. You need to listen to other people who are saying nice and good things to you, because they mean it. People won't just say it. You may believe that, you're just saying that, you know, a husband saying to a wife, wow, you're really sexy. It's just like, yeah, whatever. You're just saying that because you're married to me or you want something from me or whatever. So that you don't want. We need to start listening to what other people are telling us, because they see the real us. That's how they experience us. And we must also accept that not everybody is going to feel about us that way. It doesn't matter. It only matters the people that do like us. And the people, you know, if nobody likes you, then obviously you've got to like start thinking about what am I doing? I need to change. You know, but if there's a lot of people that love you, and there's a couple of people who don't. I mean, I see it on YouTube. You get something, and when we get lots of views, there's sometimes people who dislike the video, which is not part of the community. When we do things like the SME relief measures, people who are against this whole corona thing and it's a conspiracy, they tend to give us a thumbs down on those sessions. I'm not gonna focus on those, because we got so many more positives. If the negatives were more than the positives, I would say, okay, whoa, we need to revisit what we're doing. But the same in your life. Listen to the people who love you. Listen to the people who see great things in you, and believe that. You can choose to believe that, and you can work on those things, because those are the things that makes you special. All right, cool. Wow, I feel like a preacher this morning. All right, the next one is persevere always. Persevere always. And this is something that I think, you know, specifically in my journey, the last, what is it now? 7 years, if not longer, you know, where there was a million times where I wanted to give up. There was a million times when I couldn't do this anymore. There was a million times when family was asking, like, when are you going to look for a job? When are you going to, like, because how can you do this? And, you know, then there's no money for this, and then there is money, and then there's no money, and then there is money. And that's how it goes with a small business. But for me, luckily, I'm able to persevere but we must be able to do it in all circumstances. It doesn't matter what's happening right now, okay, and what the outcome of this is going to be. We don't know. I mean, I read the things that people are saying, so many jobs are lost, so many. Yesterday, I think it was on Twitter somewhere, I saw somebody saying that, so SAST has no idea what's coming because they've given all these relief measures, and then all those companies are going to be liquidated. They will never see that money. Do they know what's coming? I don't know if that's going to be the case. And even if that is the case, if that business has the opportunity to start again, because that's the thing, if you persevere, you will get up again and you will do it again, and you will start from scratch, and you'll do it quicker than you ever did it before, because you've got knowledge and experience that you didn't maybe have when you started off eventually. So if it took you 5 or 10 years to get where you are today, it's not going to do that again. It's not going to take 10 years again. We know the principles. We know what to focus on. We know where to go look for clients. So it's going to be so much quicker this time around. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not the only person that's going to go through whatever's going to happen to me. But I can't focus on that. If I was focusing on that, I would be lying on the couch right now watching Netflix probably. Okay? But that's not what we must do. We must persevere. You must push through. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. That is what we need to do. It's like, have you ever I'm not crazy about chopping wood, all right? For me, that's like, I don't know, just buy wood that's got small and bigger pieces in it. But sometimes it's necessary to chop wood. But if you think about like perseverance, there's so many things that we can compare that to, or that we can use as an analogy. But one of the things they actually use in the book itself is that it's like taking a sword or an axe and starting to chop away at a big oak tree, and the first chop you give is not going to, it hardly makes a mark on the tree. And then you keep on doing it. You keep on doing it. You keep on doing it. You persevere. You just keep on hitting that tree. You hit it. And then eventually you're going to get halfway through. And even like as you go past that, even before you've cut right through, that tree may break and just fall over. But if you just stopped, if you hit that first one and you thought like, oh, this is making no difference, guess what? It would make absolutely no difference. That tree would stay standing. The same with, if you think about when it's raining and water, hitting a mountain, that first drop does nothing, but it keeps on raining. It makes a little river. The water starts to run. It starts moving the mountain. It can cut the mountain in two. I mean, I've seen those pictures. Okay. Just because it kept on going. So it's the same thing with us. It doesn't matter how hard it gets, and it's difficult, guys. I'm in those shoes. It's not easy, but you keep going, and I'll get to action in a bit. But the things that we do are the things that's pulling us through. So when you stop doing, then you definitely have sealed your fate. Okay, and then the other thing is, if you persevere and you become successful, you should just be very, very wary that you don't let yesterday's success lure you into today's complacency. You can never get to a place where you go like, no, I've got this figured out. Now it's all on autopilot, and there we go. That is the most dangerous thing that one could do. So you've got to stay focused. You've got to stay on your goals. You've got to keep doing the things that has made you successful up until this point, because it is not going to remain like that if you stop doing the things that are making you successful. Okay. Yes, so Frans Harting says, I can recommend The Secret on Netflix. Yes, I watched it the other day again. I watched it way back in 2005 or 6. We watched it actually when I was still at Liberty in the branch. We watched it there. And then I watched it the other day. There was quite a number of things that I watched. I also love watching Tony Robbins' I'm Not Your Guru. I don't know if you've ever watched that. That's also very, very powerful to go and watch that. Hey, man, good to hear your journey, Francois. Thanks, hey, man. Looking at the history and experiences, some of the most successful people, they failed many times before becoming successful. Absolutely. And I also mentioned there's stats that say, well, if you look at South Africa and America, then you have the same number of businesses not making it. So in the first year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever those stats are, it doesn't matter. The one big difference between the South Africans and the Americans, though, is this, that the South African, I try something, it doesn't work, I'm done. I go back to work for someone. The Americans will try 4 more times before they give up. That's perseverance. That's the difference, those are real research stats. I can't recall exactly who did them or exactly what it is, but those are powerful. It's like get up and try again, get up and try again. What have you learned from the previous one? Use that not to make the same mistakes, and maybe you'll make new mistakes. And often you won't make it because of things outside of your control. It's not even your fault, but then you give up. I'm just not built for this. Crap, man. We can. Carol says, agree, focus, and find people where you will be appreciated and not try and fit in where you aren't. This is a spin-off from Simon Sinek's words, I think. Can't remember the exactness. Thank you, Carol. I agree with that. I'm going to talk about that as well. So that is great. Guys, if I miss comments in between, I apologize. It's quite hard to present and to follow exactly what everybody is saying. Terence, Francois, I applaud you for doing this for us every single day. You're a mensch. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Terence. It's a real privilege. I'm not just saying that. Always, Adrian says, always ask yourself if it's really true or is it just your view? Yes, because we skew ourselves, quite a lot. I see there's some people there saying they agree with you, Adrian. So great stuff. All right. So now that we know that we need to always persevere, this is where it starts now with I am a miracle. I can promise you, I guarantee you, this is like, I can't give you many guarantees, but the one guarantee I can give you is that there is literally, like physically, physiologically, however, there's nobody else like you. And we've heard this a million times. It's not like new. Okay, they said this in the 30s, if not long before that there is nobody like you. The issue is that we don't believe that. And I always say, if you've got 2 people with the exact same business plan, with the exact same business model, with the exact same everything, you copy me. Like if you take my content and you go put it out as your own, good luck with that, number one. Number two, there is no way that you can present it the way that I do. And then secondly, and this is why we should stop seeing other people as competition. And also, we shouldn't be worrying about what other people are doing. Worry about what you're doing, because nobody can do it like you do it. And that's why you attract certain people to you, because they love the way that you do things. They love who you are. And that's what's making this work. Nothing else. Too often I feel like, people like don't want to work together, or they don't want to collaborate because, you competition or whatever, you can do it better. No, there's people that don't like me, and that's great. That's fantastic. I only got so much energy. So for the people that love me, that's great. And I will serve them to the best of my ability. But the same with that person. You've got people who love you and that wants to only work with you and serve them to the best of your ability. That is what we should be doing. Okay, truly believe that you are unique. Gary Vaynerchuk says, and I can't remember the stats, but you've got a 1 in, I don't know how many trillion, billion, like Zuma numbers of chance of being a human. So do you understand how special that is? Do you understand how unique you are based on that? Do you know how lucky you are? I know you're throwing this away because you don't believe that. You don't believe that you're unique, or you don't believe that you've got anything to offer. No, I don't agree with that. You can't be duplicated. As much as I think, even if they do all these weird and wonderful science experiments, I don't want to even get into that. You can't be duplicated. There is nobody else like you. Even if you've got a twin, like an exact twin, you're not the same. And then, as I said, forget about what others do. Too often we're focusing, what does that advisor do? And what does that one do? And what does that? And we're so busy looking at what they're doing that we never get to what we want to do and how we want to do it, because we're so afraid that we're going to make a mistake, or we're going to do it wrong, or we're going to, maybe you are the person that comes up with a new way of working with clients, or a way that to connect with clients that is just, wow, this is just something amazing. But you were so concerned about what others are doing that you just don't go out there and do it. You're afraid that you're going to do it and nobody's going to like it, or you're going to make a mistake. That's the biggest thing. And I'll speak about this. You would have heard me this in many episodes saying, we should try stuff. We should try stuff. We should not be afraid to experiment and just see and apply things that we read about and that we learn about and that we hear and watch. Implement that in your business and see how it works. Don't be afraid. Nobody's going to be mad. if it doesn't work. It's a lesson. We started paraplanning last year. It did not work for me. It is not what I want to spend my time on. It is not worth my while. It is very frustrating to me to do those things. I love doing the soundboarding stuff. So phone me, talk to me, email me about how do I do this? How do I do that? Okay. And I still do. Certain advisors, if they ask me, listen, I've got this, and it's really like a nice client with interesting aspects and things that one would need to consider. I love working with those kind of things. So that's fine. But your run-of-the-mill para-planning kind of stuff, no. So we stopped it 6 months later. I'm not going to worry about what anybody thinks about me. It's a business thing. I tried something. I thought I would love it and that it would work for us. It didn't. I didn't like it. It's not what I want to do. And it's fine. So don't be afraid to try stuff. I think that is the bottom line. Just think about this. If you're if there's nobody else like you, if you can't be duplicated, it means that you're rare. And just think about if something that's not rare steak, okay? But if you are rare, if anything is rare, if this was the only phone in the world, if this was the only phone, what would people be willing to pay for this? How valuable would this be? And now I've got a Captain America thing here, so it's even more valuable. But yeah, I mean, those are the kind of questions that you need to ask. And you need to understand that I'm here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose. And often people spend their entire lives trying to figure out what that is. And I think, often in my case, it's always been here in my face. And you know what the funny thing is? Everybody around me saw it. Everybody around me was saying things. I just didn't listen. I just didn't believe that is so. So the things that I'm sharing with you are things that I've gone through and things that I've done and things that I've realized to say, oh, okay. So often if you're looking for your purpose, speak to people around you. What do they see when they see you? You'll be amazed at the answers you get. All right. Lekker man. Okay, so then live each day to the max. Make every day count. What if this was my last day, or I will live this day like it was my last day? There's so many different ways of really putting this. And this is going to be different for every single person. I mean, there will be a huge difference in how people view this and how we approach this. But, really making the most of each day, because if I were to sort of live in yesterday, which I did do as well. So you live about what happened 10 years ago and 20 years ago and when you were still in school and all sorts of stuff, and you get stuck there. It just steals away all your happiness, because the fact of the matter is that you can't change what happened yesterday. The same with, and this, like if you live in the future, you worry about tomorrow. You don't even know if tomorrow is going to come, and you spend all this time. And the problem with living in the past and worrying about the future is that it is splitting your energy, and it's taking away energy that you don't focus on what you can do today. So if you really want to make progress, if you really want to become one of the greats in whatever it is that you want to be great at, focus on today and do what you can do today. Forget about what has been, because you can decide to do things differently from today. It doesn't matter what mistakes you made. Doesn't matter whether it was a small mistake, it was a huge mistake. Whatever it was, forgive yourself for that and say, and that's a decision. I made that decision. Like, I'm now done. I can't keep going back. I can't keep, focusing on stuff that I did back then, which was not good at all, but it's done. It's not about what I did. It's about what I'm doing going forward. And when I made that decision and realized that's when things really started to change. So I can highly recommend doing that. And then the big thing obviously is not to procrastinate. Oh, I'm very good at procrastination. You can call that many things, that you are aandag-afleibaar. I don't know what that is in English. Attention deficit disorders. And, it's like the Dory syndrome. It's like, keep on swimming. Ooh, that's like that thing. So if you ever watch Nemo. But those are the kind of things, where like procrastination is not your friend. Procrastination is usually born out of fear. You got to go figure out what the hell are you afraid of and what's keeping you back. Is it that you are just afraid that you're going to make a mistake? What is it? I don't know. There's so many things. Don't you believe that you add value? Don't you believe that you are very good at what you're doing? So those things are extremely important to go and consider. So I'm not a psychologist at all. I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I think I went through and things that I had to focus on, and some of the things that is working, that is helping me overcoming procrastination. I'm very good at procrastination. Even yesterday when I had to work on the tax tool, I was first working on some marketing stuff because I love it. I can just sit and write and I know what I want to say and what I want to do, but the tax tool, I had to go get in that mindset of everything and where everything fits together and all of that. So yeah, then this is a very, very big one, guys. So this is huge. Mastering your emotions. So about emotional intelligence. They obviously talk about IQ and EQ, and I think there's another one now that people are also talking about. But really mastering your emotions. Often, when people don't like you that much, it's probably because you don't have control over your emotions. You don't have a filter in front of your mouth. You just, I don't know. But emotions, usually what happens is if you've got a certain feeling, remember, if we go back to your beliefs, creates thoughts creates emotions, and or feelings, and feelings create or leads to actions. Because if you get anxious, you act in a certain way. When you get mad, you act in a certain way. When you get stressed, you act in a certain way, or you don't act, which is even worse. So those are the kind of things that I think that, when you think about emotions, it's such a powerful thing that if you can master your emotions, if you can control them, and it's possible. And the funny thing is that usually if you think about your beliefs, are fostering your thoughts are fostering your feelings, and your feelings, your actions. It almost feels like this is a one-way stream that's just going in one way. But it's actually possible, because if you've got a strong mindset, to take your actions and override your feelings and override your thoughts from that point of view. But it starts with self-awareness, and it starts with a really strong willpower to say, no, I know how I'm feeling. I recognize how I'm feeling, and it's okay to feel that way, but I can still choose how I act. You don't act on autopilot just because you feel a certain way. So those things are really something that, if I talk about, mastering your emotions, I think that is important. Seasons come and go. Things are going to be great in your life. Things are going to be bad in your life. People are going to come into your life. People are going to leave your life. Those kind of things. And so recognize that, and it's okay. It's the natural way. Like, winter must come. Summer will come again, and then winter must come again. You're going to sow seeds, and then you're going to have to, to harvest. It's not always going to have this beautiful grain on the land or things like that. It comes and goes and comes and goes. And the same with everything in our lives, and the things that causes us to feel not so good and create feelings that maybe we don't love, and emotions that we don't love that much. We can still choose how we act in terms of that. All right. Yeah, nice. So let me just see quickly if there's some more comments over here. Let me just see. Razan says, amazing subject. A creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve, not by the desire to beat others. Yes, that is wow. That is awesome. Thank you, Razan. And then quickly over on LinkedIn. Yes, okay. There is no more comments there. You're welcome to share your views or any resource or things that you use to help you through different things and to really become this. Then this is something that, this is, I don't know if you can laugh without feeling good. Is that even possible? It doesn't matter. And it's amazing, when you read through these things that I can't share everything with you, but as I say, I'll send it to you if you want to, just let me know. But you look at all the different analogies that they do in the book and that they talk about. It's really, really amazing to think about, what impact laughter can have. And it doesn't matter. Have you ever been so mad or depressed and I'm not talking about like serious. I'm just like, you were off for the day. You didn't feel that well for the day. But then you either watch a video where somebody is laughing hysterically. I mean, you can't help yourself than just to start smiling and laughing. You're probably sitting there because I'm laughing, like you also, like just having at least a smile on your face, even if you don't realize it. And yeah, I think laughter is an amazing thing. It lifts our spirits, it lifts our energy, and all of that. So we've got to remember to laugh. And you know what the interesting thing is? Did you ever realize that it's only the human species that can laugh? Only humans can laugh. Okay, except for hyenas. Maybe hyenas can. I don't know, but they're sarcastic. So let's leave them out the picture. But humans are the only species that can laugh. So everybody else can have all the other feelings and all the other sort of things. Doesn't matter which type of animal you are. But laughter is only for us. It's only for humans. And how beautiful and powerful is that actually? You've got to be able to laugh at yourself as well. I do that often, like maybe not in the moment so much, but sometimes I'll just think like the other day I was busy with recordings here for Capital Legacy, and I was under immense pressure. My laptop started acting up, and like I needed to get the stuff done. And I got so mad at the dogs keep on barking, like it would be quiet. And then I'm finally in my groove and doing things, then some dog comes running past here and barking, and I lost it. I literally lost it. And then afterwards, I'm just thinking, I don't know. Well, one, I don't know why I acted like that. Number one. Number two is, I wonder if somebody else hurt me. Like, what are they thinking about this oak? Like, this oak is not having a good day, or this is not a nice guy, or whatever it may be, But you need to laugh at yourself. And sometimes you make mistakes. I must tell you the story about our Vidavid. I won't do that today, but I still need, because that was a moment where I just had to laugh at myself. I didn't have a choice. But anyway, yeah, and often if we don't find a reason to smile or to laugh or just do that, there are 4 words, and I know, like Terence, you've used this actually. I've seen you use this, but and this is one of those epic lines in Lord of the Rings as well. Although it's a little bit different in Lord of the Rings now that I think about it. But it is basically talking about like, this too shall pass. Okay, this too shall pass. This is going to get better. It can't rain forever. It can't storm forever. It changes. It is going to change. And while we're in the midst of that storm, we don't feel like it's ever going to change. It's just like, I'm just wet and I'm cold and I'm just frustrated and this is just bad. Is this what my life has turned out to be? But I promise you it's going to change. So this too shall pass. So if that doesn't give you a reason to smile, it's just like, whatever. Okay, this too shall pass. And I know some things are extremely bad. When you deal with the loss of a loved one and things like that, I'm definitely not downplaying that. That is absolutely something. I mean, I know people where it's been 7 years and they still can't get over it. So, I don't know how I would react in a situation like that, because I haven't been through something like that. So I'm definitely not downplaying that kind of stuff, okay? But overall in our lives, like, we can choose to laugh more and to do things like that. But anyway, so remember, so the Lord of the Rings was, thou shall not pass. So it was keeping that demon, or that, I don't know, Balgarok or something was his name. I can't remember. But he just said, you're not going to pass, yeah? So, yeah, it could be the same kind of idea. All right. Next up, and this one I really, really love, is that multiply my value every day. Multiply my value every day. So how can I be more valuable? How can I help more? How can I be more? Okay. And there are also, I mean, if you look at that in the scrolls, in this specific one, where they talk about, multiplying your value, there are many great examples and analogies that they use in this book particularly. The one that I want to focus on is grain. If you think about grain, okay, they can do sort of one of 3 things could happen to grain. Okay, the first thing is it can be fed to pigs. Okay, the second thing is that it can be milled and it could become bread. Okay, they make flour from it and it becomes bread, so it can feed a lot of people. Or it can be planted again and it can grow to become this field of grain. And then obviously when the heads split, you get thousands of grains from that one grain. And that's the power. And that is sort of what you want to do. Now, the only difference between grain and ourselves is that grain don't have a say. Grain don't have a choice. Okay. We decide for grain, is that, that this bag is going to the pigs. This one is going to the milling, to the mills, and then these ones we're going to use to plant again for more grain for next year or for the year or whatever. But that's very important, that we need to understand that we've got control over what we do and what we choose to focus on and what we bring to the table. It's our choice. You have even if you feel that you don't, I promise you, you have that ability to do that. Then goal setting is extremely important when it comes to this. You're not just going to get up in the morning and just do what you do and think that things are going to happen. So I'm not going to get into goal setting and all of that. But goal setting is extremely important. And if you go back to one of the previous points, we were talking like making the most of today. If you don't know what you wanted to do today, then things will stand over to tomorrow, but you could have done them today. But without these goals, it's going to be very hard. So you need goal setting in order to really go out and apply or to multiply your value. And the more you can do that, it's just the funny thing how everything else just starts to manifest itself more and more and more. Then the big one, and this was a big one for me. I told you the story in one of the other episodes. I talk about this actually in the 7 Powerful Habits webinar as well, about where I found myself every year, October, November, December, like for 3 years in a row. It's about acting now. It's about taking action. It's about being decisive and intentional with your actions. You can't just, kom ons kyk, let's see what happens today. That doesn't work. I did that. Trust me, I did that for a long time. It's just nog 'n dag. So unless you know exactly what you want to do, and I'm still not great at it, I'm still not perfect at it, but I promise you that I get so much more done since I've at least got an idea of what it is that I need to do today and tomorrow, and so forth. And then you choose, how much time and effort you want to put into that. But think about this. Okay, you've done probably a business plan before. Whether it was when you started or whether you do it annually or you've been part of a corporate where you are forced to do it. No plan, no speech, no strategy, no nothing. I mean, you could plan to go to Cape Town for the best holiday of your life. You could have planned it out to the T. But that plan itself is not going to move you to Cape Town. It's not going to get you in the car. It's not going to get you on the plane. It's not even going to get you to the airport. It's nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Although we should spend the bulk of our time planning and preparing and strategizing, unless you take that step, unless you get into the car, unless you get onto the plane, that plan ain't happening. There is no such thing as a great plan and great goals and all of that that's going to make things happen. You got to take action. You got to do, and we shouldn't be afraid to do. I often was too afraid to do things because, maybe it's not going to work, or I don't know if this is the right thing, and then I don't know, is it like, are you really afraid of that? And that then turns into procrastination. And then it's just a very bad sort of circle that you don't want to get into. So if you really want to punch fear in the face, like if you get anxious, if you get afraid, if you procrastinate, the best way to punch that stuff in the face, and I wish I was like Gary would have said things that I want to say, like if you really want to punch it in the face, take action. It was the same thing as I told you with the Capital Legacy content and things that I did. It was like I was anxious the whole freaking day because I can't get the stuff done, and I made a promise to deliver it by a certain time, and now my laptop doesn't want to work, and then it's the dogs and it's the people building across the street, and it's just all these things that keep on, coming into this. And then I felt, but when I came and I was tired, I was really, really tired, and I did half of it during the day, and I still had half left in the evening. But I came here at 8 o'clock at night, and I sat down and I did it, and 9:30 I was finished. And when I walked out of here, all of that was gone. It was all gone, and I felt like, thank you. But if I didn't take action, I would have still felt like that today if I haven't finished it. So action is the most, if you want to punch anything in the face that's holding you back, take action. And the action doesn't have to be successful. Take action, okay? Be decisive and be intentional in the actions that you take. It must be in line with what you're trying to do. But don't get like, did this work or did this not work? No, go like, Well done, Francois. You took action. You tried something. Fantastic. That is what it should be about. Then one thing, there was another analogy that I really, really, really loved. I wish I had a picture that I could put up here. But the firefly. Did you know that a firefly will only light up when it's actually flying, when its wings are flapping? If the wings are doing nothing, there's no light. So you can't go sit and then there's light. No, it's got to take action and then there will be light. That's powerful. I'm not going to even say anything more. Yeah, so do today what must be done today. Don't let things go over to tomorrow. You know, if you plan to do certain things today, and over time you get better at really sort of gauging about what could be done today, because often we overestimate. Tony says, that sounds like I know the guy. Tony Robbins says, you know, we totally overestimate what we can do in a year, but we completely underestimate what we can do in a decade. And it's true, you know, like you think you can get so much done today. You have this long of a to-do list, and then you don't get through that much. And then it's like, you know, to-do lists don't work for me and that kind of stuff. But it's just because we're not good yet at estimating time. And that is a big challenge for me as well. So now I've learned, if I tell somebody, listen, it's going to take me a week, I tell them it's going to take me 2 weeks, because I always underestimate about how much time it's going to take me. Even when I plan, I want to do all this stuff today. I'm only going to get to 2 or 3 of them. I'm not going to do all 5 or 6 of them, even though it may seem like it's possible to do them. So be realistic and build up. If you see, oh, I could do more, then start doing more. But if you're doing too much or you're trying to do too much, then make it less. It's okay. But the things that you planned for today, do them today, because that is when you really make progress. Kobe says, when I need uplifting, I watch gags on YouTube. It's like when you stand in, like at Standard Bank or some of the banks, or on the planes often as well, these laugh for gags or gags for laughs or something. But where they pull these pranks on people, it's brilliant. You can't help to laugh. I mean, I don't care in what bad mood you are. If you watch that, you're going to laugh. So yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. Yes, Carol, hyenas are not sincere. Peter says the old Regis Digest used to have a feature called laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. And yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking now about the huisgenootjies, but I don't read the huisgenoot. I haven't read that for years, but I used to read the huisgenootjies where they've got these jokes. Carol says, when I need a good laugh, I watch Impractical Jokers on Netflix. It is about 4 friends who challenge each other and just makes me laugh. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it is mine. Yeah, and that's why we all got different sort of senses of humor, right? So spend some time with the things that you do like. Vimlesh says the book which inspired me was written by Anthony Robbins, Awaken. Yes, Awaken the Giant Within. I listened to the audio version of that as well. So there were 2. The Power Within, I think, and the other one is it the Power? I can't remember. But the one was Awaken the Giant Within, and then the other one, they were 2 sort of close to each other. And those 2, they're an hour long about, but they are very, very phenomenal to listen to those audiobooks if you're not big on reading. And then let me just quickly see over here. Thanks, Raymond. Thank you very much. Under promise and over deliver. Yes, Terence, that is absolutely so. And then the last one is, it's a bit more of a serious one, but and however you choose to do this, whether you actually pray or you meditate and reflect and do things, but praying for guidance is an important part of it. Sometimes you come up with things to do and you don't really know and understand where that comes from. But this is it. And also when you give thanks, just be grateful, and do that as part of your prayers as well. So so those are the 10 things that I wanted to discuss, and with that's sort of the story today. I hope that you really found value in this and that it makes you think a little bit, and that you'll have a fantastic Sunday with your family, and that we're going to get through this all good and well. And I really look forward to see where things are going, because we don't know what's going to happen. I said to a friend of mine yesterday, we don't know what's going to happen. We can we can think about what's going to happen. We can speculate about where things are going. And now we're only going to work digital. Or we don't know. Time will tell. But for now, let's focus on what we can do every day and work on ourselves and on our sort of, how can we be great? And what is it that you want to be great at? So that's it from me. Thank you very much for spending the time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I wish you well, and I'll see you back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., same place, same time. Keep safe and say hi to the family for me. Thank you very much.